Greetings America, Mr. Sports Travel on the 50 States Tour. Can you guess what state I'm in? Working really hard. He's in the Sunshine State. The sun is hitting me. Got the Hawaiian shirt on, sporting the shorts, suntan, lip balm, and we are at the home of the, I'll give you that in a minute, but you probably already figured it out. I'd like to thank very much all those that have donated to OperationFirstResponse.org. OperationFirstResponse.org. Thank you for your donations. This organization's been kicking major butt since 2004. They've helped over 20,000 of our vets, service members, first responders, and their families. If you watched any of my other videos, you know I'm driving the American Flagmobile. Yes, it's my car. Yes, I paid for it. Yes, I paid to have it wrapped. And no, Operation First Response is not giving me any money. And I don't want any money from them because they're a 501c charity with a 4-star rating, ladies and gentlemen. That would be 4 stars. From Charity Navigator, which is an independent think tank of all these nonprofits. Who spends the money to help the veterans, the service members, the first responders? Who spends the money on boring marketing? Operation First Response doesn't waste money. In fact, they put all of their energy into helping our vets, which is why they have a 4-star rating. So, please, if you've not donated, I would welcome your $50 donation. It goes to OperationFirstResponse.org. Visit their website, OperationFirstResponse.org. Click the donate button. Look for Mr. Sports Travel. Boom! And in exchange for doing that, I will help you or someone you'd like me to help plan their next sports road trip. You're not planning a sports road trip? I'll meet you in person. We'll have a beer. Perhaps we'll throw the football. Perhaps I'll meet you here in the swamp. Where is Mr. Sports Travel? The Florida video, of course. Gator bait, gator bait, gator bait. I am at the home of the 3-time national champion Florida Gators. I am in Gainesville, the home of the Florida Gators, at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. And why did I choose this location? Well, a few reasons. First and foremost is this here Gators was my first ever college football game. That's right. Mr. Sports Travel saw his first ever college football game in September of 1992 with his hero, his inspiration, my late father, the great Joseph Patrick Connor III. Rest in peace, my dad. He took me here for the home opener in 1992 against the University of Kentucky. Now you might be asking, Mr. Sports Travel, you grew up in Connecticut. Didn't you go to UConn football, Boston College football? You're Irish. What about Notre Dame? Answer, no, no, and no. And the reason for that is, from the time I was 8 years old until the time I was in high school, through high school, I played hockey practically year-round. I was a pretty good player. No time to go to college football. And back then, by the way, UConn was not Division I. Now they're Division I, but they're independent. And independents in Division I football is not too good. They had more luck when they were in the old Big East / American Athletic Conference. Boston College? Nope, never saw them until I was an adult. Ditto Notre Dame. So this was where I saw my first college football game in the state of Florida. And I have since this great day when my father took me to this stadium, I've seen a game at every Division I as of this video except for 5, which I intend to complete by the end of the 2022 college football season. Those 5, by the way, are the new UNLV Stadium, home of the Raiders in Vegas, Utah State, New Mexico State, UTEP, Texas El Paso, and Texas Tech, all in the West. And Mr. Sports Travel lives in San Diego, so he'll be able to knock those out end of this calendar year. So I chose this venue. In each of these videos, I'm celebrating each state as I turned 50 now in each of the 50 states, plus the District of Columbia. And I chose this venue because that was a special moment for me, and it set me up on this journey. I remember walking into the stadium. In fact, the seats that my dad and I had were in the south, what would that be? Check that. Joe, maybe Mr. Sports Travel is a little geographically impaired. That would be the northwest section of the stadium. I remember because I remember coming into this entry point, so I chose this also for this video. Now, you can't see in camera view, statues of Tim Tebow and the old ball coach, Steve Spurrier, are down this way, as well as, I believe, Danny Werfel. And there's other entrances to Benny Hill Griffin Stadium, but this is considered the main entrance because you have the main drag here right through the heart, the main part of campus. Of course, the University of Florida campus is huge, sprawls, but this is sort of the heartbeat of the campus here. And by the way, it's a Sunday afternoon here in late March. Each of these videos, my first visit to the state, my favorite visit, and my most recent visit. But why did I choose this location? I just gave you that reason. My first ever college football game, September 1992. I was all of 20-something years old, and my dad took me here, and it was awesome. And later I enrolled at TCU, and that was the second college football stadium I saw. TCU, of which I am a proud supporter, as many of you know. The Horned Frogs, maybe. But I also have an affinity for the Gators because that being my first ever event. But was that my first ever event in the state of Florida? No, actually it wasn't. So in each of these videos, I'm celebrating my first visit to the state, most recent and favorite visit. First visit to the state was actually my father, who was a big Yankee fan growing up, big Mickey Mantle guy. And my father took me to see the Yankee spring training when I was in high school. Before I was in college, I was sent off to gain a little knowledge, to learn how to score, as Jimmy Buffett would say, and pencils they must have. My dad took me to a spring training game in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. The Yankees had spring training in Fort Lauderdale. This was in late 1980s. That was my first ever sporting event in the great state of Florida. So Yankee spring training, first college football game, September 92. Most recent visit, literally within the last hour, ladies and gentlemen, I saw the Florida Gators baseball team at their new baseball stadium. Well, it opened, I believe, last year. First time I've seen it. Didn't have a good day. They got beat pretty bad by LSU, but look at Mr. Sports Travel. Sporting the Hawaiian shirt, the shorts. It's all good, ladies and gentlemen. Living the dream. So that was my most recent event to the great state of Florida. Florida is like a second home to me. I grew up in Connecticut. My parents moved here when I was in college. And then I lived here for a couple of years before I moved out to San Diego, where I spent most of my adult life, more than half my life in San Diego. But I always have an affection and an affinity to Florida because my dad taken me that game in September 1992. My mom has lived in Orlando since my dad passed, so I'm always coming back here. I have a lot of friends here, including Parrot Head friends, Jimmy Buffett fans, fins to the left, fins to the right, and a lot of other great friends in the state of Florida. And I own property here. I am a taxpayer in the state of Florida, as well as in the state of Arizona and the state of California. How do you fund your road trips, Mr. Sports Travel? I bought rental properties cash, and I let my tenants pay for my gas and hotel. Thank you, tenants! So, I'm a taxpayer here also in the state of Florida, over in the Tampa Bay area of Pinellas County. So there you go. Favorite memory in the state of Florida. Before I give you that, some perspective on my Florida travels. If you have not watched some of my other videos, I'm called Mr. Sports Travel for a reason. In the state of Florida, as an example, I've seen a game in every Division I baseball, basketball, and football venue. They don't play Division I hockey here in Florida. But I've seen all the NHL, the NBA, the MLB, and the NFL here in Florida. And I've also seen minor league hockey here. I've seen tons of minor league baseball. And of course, every March, for more than 100 years, spring training in Florida. In fact, my most popular online guide ever, for years, since 2002 until this day, except obviously during the COVID year, is my spring training guide. I have one for the Grapefruit League and one for the Cactus League. And the Grapefruit League has been hosting spring training here all throughout the state of Florida. If you're a baseball fan and you've not been to Florida for spring training, you are missing a must-see. Because not only can you come see 15 teams, and the other 15 are in Arizona, there's so many old spring training parks that are still being used, and buying my guide, you would learn about that. Now, if you donate that $50 to Operation First Response, you're getting that guide for free. In fact, I'll give you the Cactus League guide and the Grapefruit League guide just for that $50 donation. So, I've been everywhere, man, in the state of Florida. I've seen high school hoops here, and there's no high school hockey here. There's club hockey. I've seen high school football here, high school baseball, the everywhere, man. I've been everywhere here in Florida. Beautiful place from Jacksonville down to the Keys, where Boog Powell and Khalil Green went to high school in Key West, two players that went on to play Major League Baseball. Favorite memory in the great state of Florida? That's a trick question. It had to be here, September 1992, my father taking me here. By the way, that game, not surprisingly, this was the Steve Spurrier era. You can possibly see up there the 3 national championships. One was in '96, the other 2003. I believe the one in 2003 was against the Florida State Seminoles from Bobby Bowden. And as Steve Spurrier famously said, when opponents came in here when he was the old ball coach, only Gators were getting out alive. And the Gators won multiple national championships under the coaching of the old ball coach, Mr. Steve Spurrier. So that game in 1992 against the University of Kentucky, my memory serves me, the game was over at halftime. But for me, the experience was, you'd seen college football on TV as a teenager, right? But to walk into a stadium with your dad and to see college football being played, and the Gator being chanted, and the sun, and the roar of the crowd, and I don't know what the attendance was that day. As they can say, we can Google it. But let's call it a minimum 60,000. I had never in my life been to a stadium that big. I'd never been to an NFL stadium before or a college football stadium. The largest venue I'd ever been to was an NHL hockey game. My dad had season tickets to the old Hartford Whalers. So, favorite memory in the state is each of these videos. I celebrate my first visit to the state, my most recent, and my favorite. The favorite, clearly, hands down, that September game in 1992. Now, I've since been back here. My last visit here was in 2019 against the rival Tennessee Volunteers. And I've been here earlier than that. So, been here multiple times for hoops, for baseball, the old stadium, the new stadium, as well as the football. I actually saw some softball today too, after the baseball game. So, having a great time on the road trip. Hope you're enjoying my videos. Please become my friend. I'm still learning the social media stuff, folks. At MR Sports Travel. That's at MR Sports Travel on Instagram and Twitter. And on Facebook, I am at Mr. Sports Travel, M-I-S-T-E-R Sports Travel. Apparently, someone stole at MR Sports Travel. Not stole, they got it before I did. So on Facebook, I'm at Mr. Spell it out, M-I-S-T-E-R sportstravel.com. Welcome your feedback. Having a great trip on the road again for OperationFirstResponse.org. Isn't she a beauty? And how about the product placement? Look at the American flag on this H3 Jeep. Mr. Sports Travel knows how to frame his videos. Little wind? Sorry, wind reduction is kind of limited. There's a little windy day here in Gainesville. It's beautiful to be here. Oh, there's nothing like shorts and a t-shirt. Hope you're enjoying my videos. Welcome your feedback. Please, if you've not done so already, learn more, donate to OperationFirstResponse.org. Just go on their website, click the donate button, you'll see Mr. Sports Travel. Boom. Make your donation, and then let me know, or they'll let me know, as many of them have already donated to help them. They'll help you plan your sports road trip. Or hey, let's get together, have a beer, watch a game. My schedule is on MrSportsTravel.com. That's MRSportsTravel.com. For now, Mr. Sports Travel. Got to continue to work on my tan, man. I think I'm going to enjoy a little bit of this campus. Another tough day in paradise in the Sunshine State. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, home of the 3-time national champion Florida Gators. Signing off for now, Mr. Sports Travel. Going to get back on the road. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.